I have 3 turtles in the backyard. I have Miss Piggy, Trudy, and Little Louis. And for people that don't understand, these are box turtles. In North Carolina, they're about the size of a cantaloupe. They don't get as big. They're not real huge turtles. So people in Florida don't even know. They're thinking big tortoise type of thing, but they actually live in the backyard. And I was on a flight one time going to Ecuador, and I was sitting on the jump seat with another flight attendant. Well, he happens to be, he's from Guayaquil originally, and that's where you fly into to go to the Galapagos Islands. So I was talking to him, and we were just making conversation. And I said, my dog found a turtle in my backyard today. And he said, really, what does it look like? And I'm showing him the shape of like a cantaloupe, just a small size. I said, it's just a little turtle. That's as big as they get. And he said, I had a turtle when I was little. And I said, really? How big was your turtle? Not thinking about where he's from. He points to his shoulder and says, it's about this tall, and his arms are out as wide. He had a Galapagos Islands tortoise as a pet when he was a child. I said, wow. You've got to tell your dad that story because he would love it. That's amazing that this person.
I would definitely tell my dad that story, but the story I have to tell, and I'm probably going to get Dad in trouble, but it happened many years ago, and the statute of limitation is over. But my dad actually had a turtle that he got when he went to China, and he actually smuggled the turtle into his shirt as he flew back from China. So he actually, at that time, stuck the turtle in his pocket, got on one of y'all's planes, and flew the turtle from one of the Asian countries to America, where he kept that turtle for many years.
Oh, my gosh. I'm glad it's a few years ago. Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. Does he know what kind? That's a shame. He should have had 2 of them, though. That's a shame just to bring one of them. Wow.
Yeah, he should have got more than one. Should have got multiple ones. Now, you also in your book we talked about the animals and these support animals, but I'm sure you've had some hilarious stories with humans as well, including some tragic ones. Because I think, if I remember correctly, and I hate to put it on a sour note, but you actually discovered a corpse on one of your planes?
Every weird story that I've ever heard my whole life, I've ended up flying with the flight attendant that it happened to. And I'm not sure which one you're talking about, story in particular, but a friend of mine who is a Spanish speaker was helping a man hang his garment bag in the front closet. He just came on the plane, and so she's a little tiny, petite little person, and she says to him in Spanish, what have you got in this bag? Your grandmother? This bag is heavy. And he said, see, she died. I take her home. And the flight attendant said, what? Whoa. What have you got in this bag? And he said, see, she died. I take her home. And she said, not on this airplane, you don't. He had his grandmother in his garment bag that he was trying to hang in the closet. So you don't understand. When you do that, it's not, you call the local police, you call the security for the airport, you call the FBI, the ICE, every kind of international, every government thing. So it delays the plane for hours or days when you do that because they have to fill out all the paperwork. So he thought he had, like the Chevy Chase vacation movie with the aunt on the, he thought he had a nice cheap way to take her home, but it didn't work. But now let me tell you.
Go ahead.
My book is for men too because I have a whole chapter on farts and a whole chapter on boobs. So men are thinking, oh, it's a flight attendant book. There's nothing in there for me. But I have some really good stories that men enjoy too.
Tell some of the man stories because I know the one man story, which I'm sure y'all will probably have been victimized and everything by and everything. But I think it's every guy's probably ever since Erica Jong and she wrote that stupid book, Fear of Flying, there's always that fear that you're going to stumble across people being involved romantically, to put it diplomatically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had that for years. You remember on the smoke, people used to be able to smoke on flights, and we would be doing those long all-night flights to Europe or to Rio or down, Sao Paulo or Rio. And a couple would think that they were being discreet under a blanket, a couple blankets, and when they finally came up for air, all the flight attendants would be standing there with handing them a cigarette. So we used to run into it a lot more. Now people, I think, are just more restricted on flights. The flying is just so much more difficult, and so we don't run into it as much nowadays. But we used to quite often. People were joining the Mile High Club.
Wow.
And another one of the stories. I don't want to ruin the book, but it's got a lot of stories. But this brand new flight attendant, this is before 9/11 also, because you could run right up and open the door to the cockpit and walk in and talk to the pilots. And this brand new flight attendant came running up in the front. She slammed the door open. She said, "You won't believe it. There's a couple in the lab, which we call a bathroom, and they're joining the Mile High Club." Well, two pilots kind of raised their eyebrows at each other, and the captain said, "It's okay. It'll be over with in just a minute. But now, if there is a problem, you come back up here. You let me know immediately." So she goes back to the back, and about just a few minutes later, she comes running back up. She slams open the door, and she said, "You won't believe it." She said there were 3 people in the bathroom. That's why they were making so much noise. Wow. Now, you figure that one out. How on earth could 3 people get in there?
Right, and that little wow.
It's tiny, yes.
It is tiny.
That little space, that's just incredible. Now, you mentioned it earlier, so I'm going to come back into some of the other conversations. I'm glad you shared some of these stories. They're just hilarious, and I can't wait to get the book and everything. But you asked earlier, Robin, about marketing, and I'm sure even Linda may have some ideas about marketing because she's got, what is this, her second record, I believe, now. So I was just wondering, Elizabeth has written her first book. Yeah. So what advice would you give to her to market the book, Robin? You've now written one and working on your second one. So what advice would you give to her as well as other people that are writing in terms of the marketing? Because I agree that is usually the drawback to a lot of people in a lot of things. Even when we do events at HATI, sometimes we don't see the audiences that we would like to see because marketing seems easy, but it's not as easy as people want it to make it out to be.
I think what I've learned, and I'm still learning, so don't think that, this is me in a process. I am learning to be patient. Not everything is going to work. You have to find your audience, and those things take time. And so for me, I use a lot of social media because I know that is, the way to reach a lot of people nowadays. And so I do a lot of, I tweet, I post pictures on Instagram. I try not to inundate, my followers with stuff every day, all day. However, I try to do little things that I think will draw their attention, whether it be, just a little snippet from the book, if it's just, a review that may, draw their attention. Obviously, I have a publicist, which honestly is probably the best thing that I could have done. And I know not everyone can do that, but, I leave a lot of that stuff to her, which leaves me the opportunity to be more creative. And so, we work together in coming up with ideas. We bounce things off of each other and say, hey, I think this is going to work for me. And, she comes in, she says, well, maybe this will work better. And so I think that is key, is not necessarily you can be your own publicist, but as long as you have an idea of where you're going to find your audience at. And I think that that's important, So I'm on all the sites that I believe that people that read mystery books are on. I post on this site. I do my hashtags to try to get people's attention. So that's basically what I do in terms of marketing. And, you know, my publicist tells me all the time, patience, Robin, you have to have patience, because no one's going to be famous overnight. I'm sure there may be people that, you know, found fame overnight. I don't know who those people are, but, you know, for me, I just have to do the long game and know that, you know, it'll all work out. So
which social media which social media have you had the most luck with or most response from?
Twitter.
Which
definitely Twitter. Yes, since I released the book, I went from having probably about 400 followers to I'm probably about like 725 now, and that's all since I released the book on August the 1st. And so I have a lot of people that, you know, DM me. You know, some of the interviews that I've gotten has been through Twitter. You know, I see a lot of people retweet my tweet and that kind of thing. And so I've definitely gotten the most from Twitter. I know a lot of people on Facebook, but a lot of those people are my friends. And so most of the people that I'm on Facebook with are friends of mine. And so, you know, I'm not getting any new people through them. But on Twitter, I'm constantly getting new people.
Oh, cool.
Well,
that's
Linda,
good to know.
Linda, what kind of marketing tools have you used for your Irish music and things of that nature? And what has been most successful for you?
Well, definitely for me, I would agree with Roberta. Am I getting this name right? Robin. Excuse me.
Yes,
excuse me.
That's okay.
I would say mostly for me it would be Facebook. I get a lot of I interact a lot on Facebook with people. I agree with Robin as well that, you know, I try not to bombard people with too much, but that's sometimes hard when you're like, I want to share this with you. So I try not to bombard people too much. I just did a Kickstarter campaign to fund the making of this album over here, and it's really stressful because you're a creator, so obviously you're full of every now and then you'll have self-doubt and you wonder if the songs are good enough, if this is good enough. But on social media you're saying, I can't wait to share all my new songs with you, and it's like, it's almost sometimes feels like it's almost a bit false, but it's the world we live in, and that's how people get to hear about things, through social media. And also I was just nodding my head there a few times with Robin, like, I'm 39 years old. I'm not 22. I've been playing gigs in pubs and bars and cafes and whatnot for years and years. And I think the most important thing for us is that we keep creating and never forget the reasons why we do it in the first place, because we love it. And anything else I think that happens beyond that is a bonus. Because I think we always have to remember why we did it in the first place, or why we do it in the first place, why we sing, why we write, and then I think that love of what you do will keep you going through times where you think maybe no one's listening, or no one's buying your book, or nobody's that interested in it. But I think it's up for me anyway. I always have to take a step back and remember that, you know, I do it because I love it, and I think if you're open, you know, to meeting people and chatting, the opportunities will come your way. But definitely social media for sure is one that I think really has to be used in this day and age anyway, you know.
Linda, what about YouTube? Have you done anything on there?
Yeah. I have quite a few clips up on YouTube, and I do use YouTube a lot. I use Twitter sometimes, but I'm not as active on that. I have a lot of musician friends back home. Well, and many people that I know just don't like social media at all. They don't like the falseness of it, how fake it all is, how you're posting up your very, very, very best pictures. I mean, I'm posting up a picture, like, for example, last week I'm posting a picture of me at the HI Centre, and it's this incredible space with stained glass windows, and you know, people are commenting, wow, you're really living the dream. This is amazing. And you're in America. You're in America. This is amazing. And like, yes, I feel